are trying to get into our country
Exactly.
because of the opportunities. I mean, this is the only country in the world where faith and deeds, if you believe and if you work,
Exactly.
anything's
It's
achievable.
possible. That's right.
Anything's possible. And so for me, growing up the way I did and the opportunities I've had because staying true to myself, being a man of God, true to my family, and my gifts have made room for me.
Exactly.
And so it's
That's
been
what the word
exciting.
said.
And so for me, it's about just being an example to the young people and saying, hey, I grew up in an area, I did my fair share of dirt. It's all been published.
But you know what? You didn't let that overtake you. You didn't become a part of that. You moved on. You rised above. And that's what young people need to understand today. You don't have to let your community take you where it consume you. So until you can't rise above
Absolutely.
that mentality, you don't have to sell drugs. You don't have to do none of that stuff. You can go to school and get an education.
Absolutely.
You can go to college. No matter where you at in your life, you can improve your life if you have the willpower and the effort to want to do so.
Oh, yeah. Galatians 6:9.
That's right.
Be not weary in well-doing.
That's
if
right.
you faint not.
That's right. So you don't have to stay right there.
Exactly.
And, and let that consume you and take you over like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It didn't. And when I talk to students at the college, and when I used to recruit for Iowa State University, and so I would tell students to go away. I say, go away. I say, because home it's called home for a reason, because it's always there.
Exactly.
It's home. It's always going to be there. And I thank God that my mom said go and supported me. I mean, we struggled. She couldn't work, so I'm calling home, and there was no money. There's nothing. And thank God I had an aunt who was working on her PhD there and was able to help me out until I could get on my own 2 feet.
Right.
And so that's all. Just being an encouragement. And I mean, I'm no better than my cousins who strayed, but we made different choices.
Exactly.
And that's what I even tell my son. We all have choices.
That's right.
And for every choice you make, there's a consequence, whether it's positive or negative.
That's right.
And so me meeting the president was just it was a cherry on top, saying, hey,
exactly.
You've come to a place that only your mother dreamt of.
That's right.
But you can never fathom that. And so it's been truly exciting.
And I'm quite sure she was in heaven smiling.
Oh yeah, dancing.
That's right. So it's a blessing to be able to sit here today and talk about a black president. Because like I told you earlier, I never dreamed that I ever see that in my time, and I'm glad that God gave me the opportunity to be able to see that we have an African American president for the first time in the United States of America. That's true democracy when you see that. It's telling you that God made every man in his own image. And we are equal, regardless of how other people try to say that we are not, but we are.
Absolutely, and that's actually the program the motivational program, the courses I do. It's called A Dream Achieved.
Okay.
And I talk about how MLK, Martin Luther King Jr., had a dream and inspired a world.
Exactly.
And somewhere the baton got dropped. And there was this void. And then President Barack Obama came to the scene, rose to the scene through humble beginnings, being a community organizer.
That's right.
And that dream was achieved. And so that's what I talk about with these young people, that you can achieve your dream. And you have to work a plan to work, and work the plan.
You got to.
And so I always tell students, where do you see yourself? Where? Not what, where.
Exactly.
And I'm blessed, honestly. If I died today, I lived a great life.
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
But I know there's plenty more work for me to
Plenty
do.
more work.
And
Because there's some young man out there right now in the predicament that you was in at one point in your life that need some legs to get up on. In other words, you need someone to come along and tell him that it's okay. You can do better. It can happen for you. You just got to make sure you get all the tools and make good choices in your life. And the number one tool is education. You can't do anything without education. I mean, nothing. If you want to be successful, excuse me.
you have to, absolutely.
You
Whether
got
it's
to have
formal or
education.
informal.
Exactly, you got to have it. You know, it's going to be in a point in our life just to get a McDonald's job. You're going to have an associate's degree.
Absolutely. It's almost here. I mean, this recession did that.
And people pay attention. You can see that.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I still walk the blocks in my old community. I mean, these young people in my community, they need to know they can touch and feel success.
Exactly.
And it's not some far distant away, far from them,
Exactly.
but they can touch and feel it. And so I stopped by the park yesterday, and I showed some of the kids the photo. And it was like, is that you? And it was like, so one of the kids actually asked for a copy of the photo, so I gave it to him.
Okay.
And who knows what that photo
Might do
for this
him.
10-year-old.
Exactly.
And so that's why I live. I mean, it's when my book is open and read, I wanted to say I did everything. I helped his children.
Exactly.
And I kept the community in front of me.
Exactly. Are you planning on writing a book?
I do. I plan on writing a book.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Good. Because everything that you do in life for another human being, it needs to be notated. And people need to know this. So you need to leave this for your grandchildren to be able to read. That's my purpose of writing my book. Because, number one, I wanted my grandchildren to know their history, to know where their grandmother came from, their mother, and the struggles that we had, the things we had to do in order for them to get where they at, in their life. And it's so many people paved the way for us to be able, for us to just be sitting here today.
Oh yeah, stand on the shoulders of many people, and I'm big on history.
Exactly.
I've collected a lot of Black history artifacts for my son.
Yes.
And I talked to him about that because until you know where you come from, you don't know where you can go.
One old man told me that. I want to say I was about maybe 13 or 14 years old. He said, you cannot say where you're going, but you can say where you've been. And that stuck with me all of my life. And that's why I took out the time. It took me 3 years to get my book together. But I finally finished it. It came out in February, Black History Month of this year. But growing up in the Jim Crow South like I did, I learned so much. And I wanted to share it with so many people. So that's why I did what I did. Because I know growing up as a child, you couldn't use a washroom and drink out the water fountain and do all them things that you wanted to do, So, like I tell my grandchildren every day, you need to know your history. Grandmama wants you to read your history and know about yourself so you'll know all this propaganda out here, they won't fool you.
Yeah, and appreciate what you have.
Exactly.
I mean, my son,
Exactly.
I told my son, I say, don't insult my intelligence when I ask you to do something. Don't ask me how much you're going to get paid.
Exactly.
And say, you probably will get blessed more if you just go ahead and do what I ask,
what you ask,
instead of trying to find out first what you're going to get paid.
Exactly.
Say, learn how to work first.
That's right.
And that's one of the things I try to instill in them. And
That's
I think
right.
that, I appreciate when I was in D.C., oh man, I walked through the White House and the guy was asking me, did I have any questions about it? And I said, no, this is hollow ground.
Exactly.
And so it's been exciting.
I bet that was very exciting.
Yeah,
for you to go there.
I mean, I'm just living for all those young men and young women who I grew up with that couldn't see this opportunity
Right.
because of of being taken, being murdered, or things like that, or being behind bars. And so I live for all them.
Okay.
I live for all them.
So are you planning on going to the convention?
I'm possibly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm considering going.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, there's plenty of work to do around here.
It is. It is. And you know, like the Bible says, you got more work than people,
Laborers,
laborers,
yeah.
you know, that want to do it.
Laborers are few, but the harvest is
Okay.
plenty.
Yeah, right. And I see that every day
And
in my community.
And I need to train some more laborers.
Exactly. You know, it's amazing. A lot of people want a lot of things, but they're not willing to work for it.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and that's sad.
Yes, and everything I
sad.
got, I earned it.
Exactly.
I mean, I tell people, I was on the bottom of the ballot out of 8 candidates, and I got this. And the community college is at the bottom, the last page of the ballot,
Right. It is.
and I was at the bottom out of 8, and I got the
Wow.
second highest votes.
Hey, nice.
The top, she got 15.3%, and I got 15.1% at the bottom of the ballot.
And you won.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a blessing. You know that's a blessing.
And they still trying to figure out how I did it.
You did it by
I know who I
by
serve.
the Lord Jesus Christ. That's how you did it. Okay. All right. You know what? We got to cut it short. Time is up. Look like when you're doing good and you got things rolling, that's when your time just wheeze on out from under you. But I'm glad. I'm going to have you back again. But I'm glad that you came today. And I just wish you all the world of success in what you're doing. And I hope you bring a lot of young men to understand what democracy it is and what you have to do to have success through education. I just hope that everything just work out for you, and I just keep praying for you.
Thank
that
you.
God just keep opening doors for you and just keep on guiding you to do the right thing. But I thank you for coming. And I thank all of my viewers out there for tuning in to the Diane Boone Show every Tuesday night on Comcast 19 at 10 p.m. Please tune in and see what I have to say, because I'm a very, very, like my friends say, unique person, and I try to bring good things to the forefront to be able to keep you all out there informed on what's going on. Thank you for watching. God bless each and every one of you for tuning in. Thank you, and be blessed.